You're becoming the bridge chosen one. These 7 signs reveal it. There's a moment in your life, quiet, often hidden, when you begin to feel like you no longer fit into the world the way you once did. It's not that something has gone wrong. It's that something ancient has begun to awaken within you. It starts subtly. You find yourself questioning everything. The things that used to excite you now feel empty. The conversations around you start sounding hollow. You sit in a crowd and feel like a ghost, present but unseen. You're not broken. You're being prepared. Because when you're becoming a bridge chosen one, the first shift is internal. Your soul begins to rearrange itself for a purpose it hasn't fully revealed yet. And though it feels like confusion, it's actually sacred disorientation, the kind that happens when a caterpillar dissolves into nothing before becoming something entirely new. It's a spiritual dismantling, and it's necessary. You're not losing yourself. You're losing what you never were, so who you truly are can emerge. The second thing that begins to happen is this. You start seeing life differently. Patterns emerge. Coincidences become messages. Numbers on clocks repeat. People show up at the exact moment you think of them. You say something, and it materializes. These aren't accidents. They're a new language. The universe has always been speaking to you, but now you're finally quiet enough to hear it. This is a sign that your intuition is activating at a higher frequency. You're entering a space where reality becomes more fluid, where thought and manifestation begin to dance. You're starting to remember that life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. And it's in this space that you begin to realize you are not just a participant in the story, you are a co-creator of it. But that realization isn't just magical, it's a responsibility. Because once you see the codes behind the illusion, you can't unsee them. You're being invited to step into a higher dimension of awareness, and with that comes the call to embody what you know. As this deepening continues, something even more challenging awakens. You begin to feel everything. Not just your own emotions, but the pain of others. You walk into a room and immediately sense the energy. You talk to someone and walk away feeling their sadness as if it were your own. You may even find yourself crying for no clear reason or feeling overwhelmed by the suffering in the world. This isn't a flaw. It's empathy being turned into a superpower. You're not becoming weaker. You're being attuned. Bridge chosen ones are not just thinkers, they're feelers. They carry the weight of unseen wounds, not to drown in them, but to transmute them. And while it can feel like a burden, it's actually a gift. Because what the world needs most right now isn't more logic, it's more heart. You were born with a heart large enough to carry others. But first, you must learn how to carry yourself through this sensitivity without collapsing. Your sensitivity is not a curse, it's the compass for your mission. Then, as if the universe wants to test your readiness, people begin to exit your life. Friends fall away. Relationships shift or break down. Family dynamics get strained. It feels like abandonment, but in truth, it's initiation. The more you rise into your calling, the more you will shed what no longer resonates. And that's not because others are bad, it's because your vibration is changing. And with that change comes a reshuffling of your reality. The universe is not punishing you, it's preparing you. Making room. Creating space for the people who will meet you where you're going, not where you've been. And in the silence that follows their absence, you will find yourself again. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the sacred ground where your soul sharpens its sword. And when the time is right, those who are meant to walk with you will arrive, not because you chased them, but because they were drawn to your light. Eventually, something even more profound begins to happen. You start receiving visions, not always in the way you expect. No booming voice from the sky or glowing angel in the corner of your room. Sometimes, it's just a persistent idea that won't leave you alone. An image, a dream, a whisper in your soul, telling you to create, to speak, to build something that seems far too big for someone like you. But here's the truth. That vision isn't random. It's a soul assignment. The universe plants these seeds only in those who are meant to grow them. And when you're a bridge chosen one, your visions are not about ego. They're about healing. They're about unity. They're about service. The idea that scares you the most, that's probably the one you were born to bring to life. And the longer you avoid it, the heavier it becomes. Because your soul knows why it came here. So ask yourself, what keeps calling you even when you try to ignore it? Finally, you begin to feel less interested in status and more drawn to service. You care less about being important and more about being impactful. You don't want fame, you want freedom. Not just for yourself, but for others. You want to help people remember who they are. You want to speak truth, even when it trembles in your throat. And you no longer need to be the center of attention. You just want to be the light that helps others find their path. That's the highest sign. Because the true bridge chosen ones don't need recognition. They are too busy building portals between the seen and the unseen. Between the old world and the new. And they know that they don't need to save the world. They just need to become the bridge so others can walk across. If that resonates, then I'll say this. You've already begun. You've already answered the call. The only question now is, will you keep walking? Walking between worlds, the sacred burden of the bridge chosen ones. The moment you begin to awaken as a bridge chosen one, you realize something both beautiful and terrifying. You no longer belong fully to the world you once knew, but you also don't entirely belong to the higher realms just yet. You are caught in between. You are walking between worlds, and that space neither here nor there is where your true power lies. But it doesn't come without cost. You'll feel the tension every day. One moment you're grounded, laughing with friends, pretending everything is normal. The next you're floating in silence, feeling the call of something vast and unseen. You're not crazy. You're not unstable. You're becoming multidimensional. You are learning how to hold the mundane and the mystical in the same palm. And that's not easy. Because most people live only in one reality. But you were chosen to walk in both, to bring ancient wisdom into modern chaos, to translate the language of the soul into something the world can understand. That's not just spiritual, that's revolutionary. And here's the paradox. The more you awaken, the heavier the world feels. This is the sacred burden of the bridge chosen one. You begin to see suffering with new eyes. You feel the collective pain, not just in headlines, but in energy. You start noticing the wounds hidden behind people's smiles. You sense the anxiety behind their laughter. You see the masks, and sometimes it's overwhelming. You might find yourself asking, why do I feel so much? Why is this so heavy? But in that question lies your answer. You were given this depth because you were meant to hold it, not forever, not to carry it all alone, but to transmute it. You are an alchemist of emotion. You are not called to fix everyone, but to feel them so deeply that your presence alone becomes healing. And that's what makes you dangerous in the most beautiful way. Not because you shout louder than others, but because your silence speaks what most people have forgotten how to hear. But this path will test you. You will face doubt, a lot of it. You'll question your sanity. You'll question your worth. You'll wonder if you're making any difference at all. Because the bridge often feels invisible. No one thanks the bridge. They just walk across it. And that's why this rule is so sacred. You're doing work that is often unseen, uncelebrated, and misunderstood. But don't let that fool you. Just because your impact isn't always visible doesn't mean it's not profound. Think about it. Some of the most powerful forces in existence are invisible: gravity, breath, love. And so is your work. You may never see the ripple effects of your presence, your words, your choices. But trust this: every act of integrity, every moment of deep listening, every truth you speak plants seeds in people's souls, even if they don't acknowledge it. And one day when they blossom, they may not remember who planted them, but you will know. Because it was you. Eventually, something even deeper unfolds. You begin to realize that being a bridge is not just about helping others. It's about transforming yourself in the process. Every person you help, every soul you touch, every moment you show up in truth, it changes you. You begin to shed the layers of who you thought you had to be. The performer, the pleaser, the protector. And what emerges is something raw, real, and radiant. You no longer chase success in the way the world defines it. You chase alignment. You chase truth. You chase peace. And you realize that the more authentic you become, the more powerful your bridge becomes. Because authenticity is magnetic. People don't follow perfection. They follow realness. They follow courage. They follow energy. So the more you drop the mask, the more you activate others to do the same. That's what makes you a leader, not your title, your status, or your platform, but your willingness to live openly, vulnerably, and unapologetically. But let's be honest, there will be days you want to quit. Days where you feel like nothing makes sense. Days where you ask, why me? Days where the weight of the world feels unbearable. And in those moments, you must remember, the bridge is not the destination. It's the passage. And because you are the bridge, you must learn to cross yourself again and again, from fear to faith, from doubt to truth, from pain to power. And every time you cross, you become stronger, more grounded, more embodied. You begin to trust the process even when the outcome is unclear. You begin to surrender, not in defeat, but in devotion. Because this journey is not about arriving, it's about becoming. Becoming the kind of person who can hold both light and shadow without being consumed by either. Becoming the kind of soul who can meet people exactly where they are, without judgment, without fixing, without fear. Just presence, just love, just truth. So let me ask you deeply, honestly, without filters, are you willing to let your life be the bridge between what was and what could be? Because that's what's being asked of you, not perfection, not certainty, just willingness. Willingness to keep going, to keep listening, to keep loving, even when it hurts, even when it's thankless, even when no one sees you. Because the universe sees you. The ancestors see you. The future generations waiting to walk across your bridge, they feel you. And maybe you don't realize it yet, but your presence here is already healing something ancient. You are not just a person. You are a frequency, a message, a living invitation for others to remember who they are. And that is no small thing. That is everything. From awakening to embodiment of the bridge chosen one, there comes a point in every bridge chosen one's journey when awakening is no longer enough. Insights, synchronicities, visions, they are beautiful beginnings, but they are not the destination. Eventually, the path demands embodiment. It asks you not just to know the truth, but to become it. Because a bridge that knows it exists, but refuses to carry weight, serves no purpose. You may have spent years learning, healing, remembering. But now the question shifts. Are you ready to live what you've learned? This is where many turn back. Because embodiment is not glamorous. It's not about mystical experiences or spiritual aesthetics. It's about how you show up when no one's watching. It's about whether your actions match your frequency, whether your words carry the vibration of your soul or the fear of your ego. Embodiment is brutal honesty, and it requires sacrifice, not of your joy, but of your false identities. The parts of you still clinging to safety, control, or validation must die for your truth to live. And that's where the real transformation begins. You start making decisions that don't make logical sense to others, but they make soul sense to you. You might leave a job, walk away from a relationship, move to a new city, or change your entire life path, not because you're chasing something, but because you're aligning with something deeper. You begin to prioritize peace over performance, integrity over popularity, presence over productivity. And while the world may not understand, your soul starts to breathe for the first time in years. You'll notice that your body becomes more sensitive because it's no longer willing to carry the energy of lies. Your intuition sharpens, not because you're trying harder, but because you're listening better. And your voice begins to carry a different weight, not because it's louder, but because it's anchored in something unshakable. This is the stage where you become medicine, not through effort, but through essence. You don't need to convince anyone. You are the message. But it's not always clean. Embodiment is messy. It will rip through your comfort zones like a storm. You'll be asked to face your deepest shadows, not to eliminate them, but to integrate them. You'll realize that being a bridge chosen one doesn't mean being perfect. It means being whole. And wholeness includes rage, grief, doubt, shame, all the parts we were taught to hide. You will be asked to sit with your inner child, your past selves, your ancestral wounds, and not just understand them, but hold them. You will cry in places you once numbed. You will forgive in places you once judged. You will reclaim the parts of you that you once rejected. And in doing so, you will discover a strange, sacred power, the ability to hold contradiction, to be both light and dark, soft and strong, human and divine. And that power is what makes you a true bridge, because you're no longer separating the worlds, you are unifying them within yourself. And once you reach this level of embodiment, something incredible begins to unfold. You become unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you've built a foundation on truth. You stop reacting to chaos because you've made peace with your inner storms. You stop fearing endings because you've learned how to die and be reborn 1,000 times within a single lifetime. You stop chasing love because you've become it. And from this place, you start to serve not from emptiness, but from overflow. Your energy nourishes others without depleting you. Your presence becomes a sanctuary. Your silence becomes a teaching. You no longer need to prove your worth with achievements, followers, or recognition. Your existence itself becomes a permission slip for others to rise. And that's when you know you've crossed the final threshold. You're no longer just bridging worlds. You are the world. You carry galaxies in your gaze. You walk like a prayer. You breathe like an offering. So now, as we stand at the edge of this final crossing, I ask you, not from a place of pressure but of invitation, are you ready to become the bridge that others didn't have? Are you ready to live your truth so fiercely that others remember their own? Are you ready to walk through this life not as a seeker, but as a living portal between the seen and the unseen? Because if you've made it this far, you're not just interested in awakening. You are ready to embody it. You are ready to carry the fire, to be the mirror, to be the message. The world is not waiting for someone else. It's waiting for you. So walk, speak, create. You'll shine, not for applause, not for approval, but because that's what you came here to do. That's what you are. You are the bridge now, and the world is ready to cross.